High above the Earth in 2026, a digital pulse beats with relentless energy, connecting every corner of our civilization in an instant. We often think of the internet as something ethereal, a cloud floating in the sky. But the truth is far more grounded and physical. Deep beneath the crushing weight of the sea, hidden in the silent darkness, lies the hidden backbone of our modern digital world. These are the lifelines of humanity. Thousands of miles of fiber optic threads snaking across the jagged terrain of the global ocean floor. On rugged coastlines around the globe, these cables emerge from the depths to enter high-tech landing stations, guarded like fortresses. Inside, massive data centers hum with power. Blinking servers process the torrent of information that keeps our global economy functioning. As financial districts in New York and London wake up, they depend entirely on the light-speed signals traveling through these submerged wires. 99% of all international data travels through these physical threads, from simple bank transfers to highly sensitive military intelligence. To maintain this system, specialized ships battle the elements, laying new cables and repairing those damaged by the movements of the Earth. But the physical nature of this infrastructure makes it incredibly vulnerable. A single break can disconnect an entire nation in seconds. By 2026, the strategic importance of these cables has ignited a silent war. Major world powers are now competing for dominance below the waves. Sovereign waters are now patrolled by autonomous drones, watching for any sign of sabotage or unauthorized surveillance of the data lines. Geopolitical heat maps reveal hotspots of competition, where the control of cable routes dictates the future of regional influence and power. The war for the undersea cables is not fought with missiles, but with information, technology, and the ability to sever an opponent's digital lifeblood. In a world that never sleeps, the stability of our global society rests on these thin, vulnerable threads deep beneath the ocean surface. As we move further into the decade, understanding the undersea cable war is essential. It is the invisible pulse of our global survival. The foundation of our digital future is laid in the depths. Protect the cables and you protect the world as we know it. We often think of the digital world as something intangible, a cloud floating somewhere above us, disconnected from the physical Earth. But in 2026, the reality of our global network is far more grounded and far deeper than most of us realize. Beneath the surface lies the true backbone of civilization. Thousands of miles of fiber optic strands protected by layers of steel and polyethylene. This physical infrastructure is what powers every video call, every AI calculation, and every global financial transaction we make. From the Atlantic to the Pacific, these lines weave a silent web across the seafloor, connecting continents in a matter of milliseconds. This is the invisible foundation of the 21st century, an engineering marvel that requires constant vigilance and immense physical effort to maintain. To keep this world connected, massive cable-laying ships traverse the most remote parts of our oceans, battling the elements every single day. On deck, giant winches groan under the weight of thousands of tons of cable as they are slowly deployed into the dark depths. Below the waves, high-tech remotely operated vehicles, or ROVs, act as our eyes and hands on the seabed. These machines use high-pressure water jets to bury the cables deep within the sand, protecting them from fishing trawlers and shifting currents. Maintenance is a never-ending cycle. When a fault occurs, repair vessels must race to the location regardless of the weather conditions. Inside the ship's specialized labs, technicians perform the delicate task of splicing microscopic glass fibers back together. Every second of downtime costs millions. The pressure to restore the link is immense as data traffic waits for no one. Far from the ocean floor, in the heart of our cities, network operation centers monitor the health of these underwater arteries. We see the pulse of the planet here, spikes in AI processing, surges in financial markets, and the steady hum of human connection. These signals eventually find their way to hyperscale data centers, the massive server farms that store our collective digital memory. Every server rack is directly tied to a cable landing station, where the journey from the deep sea finally reaches the shore. In financial hubs like Singapore or Tokyo, the speed of light through fiber determines the success of entire economies. Millions of people are unaware that their digital lives depend on a thin cable resting on a coral reef thousands of miles away. This reliance brings a hidden fragility. The system is vulnerable to natural disasters, tremors, or even the accidental drag of an anchor. If these lines were to fail, our modern world would grind to a halt. AI would go silent, and the global economy would freeze. It is a reminder that even in an age of virtual reality and artificial intelligence, we are still bound by the physical laws of the Earth. Our digital existence is not as weightless as it seems. It is heavy, complex, and deeply rooted in the geography of our planet. As we look to the future, we must recognize and protect the physical lifelines that sustain our global community. The underwater network is our planetary nervous system, pulsing with the thoughts, dreams, and data of 8 billion people. The digital world is physical, and it is more beautiful and more fragile than we ever imagined. Beneath the restless surface of our global oceans lies a hidden world, a complex web of glass and steel that powers our modern existence. This is the invisible lifeline of the 21st century. 99% of all international digital traffic travels through these undersea fiber optic cables. From banking and stock markets to your daily social media feed, everything depends on these slender strands, resting in the cold, dark abyss. But this critical infrastructure is surprisingly fragile. It faces constant threats from both the environment and human activity, often occurring miles below the surface. Accidental damage is common. Fishing trawlers dragging heavy nets across the seafloor account for a significant portion of cable faults every single year. Nature itself can be an enemy. Underwater landslides, triggered by earthquakes or storms, can strain and snap these cables like delicate threads. In recent years, a more concerning threat has emerged: the shadow of geopolitical conflict and intentional sabotage by state and non-state actors. Naval patrols now scan the horizons more frequently, monitoring the movements of vessels that linger too long near critical undersea junction points. In dimly lit briefing rooms, military officials and intelligence analysts pore over digitized maps, tracking what they call gray zone maritime activities. The detection of unidentified subsurface activity near these hubs has become a matter of urgent national security for countries across the globe. The ripple effect of a single break can be catastrophic. Within seconds, automated systems trigger network outage alerts across the global web. Major world cities can experience sudden digital darkness. Financial markets stall, communication lines fail, and the flow of information comes to a halt. Repairing these cables is a monumental task. Specialized repair vessels must navigate treacherous seas to locate and fix a break miles down. Each repair can take weeks, leaving regions vulnerable and economies reeling while crews work against the clock and the elements. As we look to the future, the security of these cables remains paramount. The peaceful surface of our oceans belies a high-stakes struggle below. Our digital future is tied to these vulnerable threads. Protecting them is not just about technology, but about maintaining the stability of our world. By 2026, our world has become entirely dependent on a digital ghost. We call it the cloud, imagining it as an ethereal, weightless entity. But the reality is far more grounded. Every click, every trade, and every message travels through a physical architecture that is surprisingly narrow and vulnerable. Underneath these shimmering waves lies a hidden empire, a massive network of fiber optic cables no thicker than a soda can carrying the world's wealth. This is the physicality of the internet. It is not made of magic. It is made of glass, steel, and plastic, vulnerable to nature and man. In massive ships specially designed for this task, miles of cable are coiled like sleeping giants, waiting to be laid across the abyssal plains. They emerge from the sea at landing stations. These unassuming concrete buildings are the gateways to entire nations, handling petabytes of sensitive information every second. But as our digital needs grow, we are forcing more data through the same narrow gates. The Strait of Malacca is a primary example of this. Here, the world's physical trade and its digital heartbeat share the same crowded space. Thousands of anchors drop near the very cables that sustain us. The risk is concentrated. In some trenches, dozens of cables lie side by side. One seismic event or one malicious act could sever them all at once. In the decision rooms of 2026, policymakers watch these choke points with growing anxiety. They know how thin the thread of connectivity truly is. A single disruption starts a domino effect. When a cable snaps, the digital shadow begins to spread, moving faster than any physical disaster could. In Tokyo, stock exchanges freeze. Algorithms unable to find the data they need grind to a halt. Billions in value vanish in seconds. In London, logistics terminals stop moving. The automated cranes that unload the world's goods wait for commands that will never arrive. And in New York, communication centers go dark. The seamless connection we take for granted is replaced by the deafening silence of a disconnected city. We have built a global civilization on a foundation of glass and salt water. Our strength is our connectivity, but it is also our greatest weakness. As we move further into the decade, the question remains, can we diversify our digital paths before the choke points reach their breaking point? The future is connected, it is concentrated, and it is incredibly vulnerable. We are only as strong as the cables we cannot see. In our oceans lies a hidden world, a web of glass and light that anchors our modern civilization. By 2026, these are no longer just cables. They are the primary veins of national sovereignty and the oxygen for global AI networks. 99% of all global data passes through this underwater frontier. Every transaction, every secret, and every line of code. The race for control has moved from the surface to the depths. A new era of industrial competition has begun in the shipyards. Tech giants and nations are pouring billions into specialized vessels designed to weave the next generation of subsea infrastructure. Engineers work around the clock. Every meter of fiber is a strategic asset in a world hungry for data processing power. But with dependence comes vulnerability. These invisible lifelines are now targets in a high-stakes game of shadow and surveillance. Naval patrols now shadow cable routes, guarding against the threat of gray zone warfare and intentional sabotage. In the silent depths, autonomous drones patrol the darkness, scanning for anomalies that could disrupt entire economies. Information security is the new front line. For those who control the wires, the future of artificial intelligence is within reach. New alliances are forming. Diplomatic pacts are now signed not just for land, but for the paths of digital independence. To own the cable is to own the data. To own the data is to secure the future of national identity in 2026. As the sun sets on the old world, a new era of connectivity emerges, defined by the silent strength of the underwater frontier. The race is on. The network is growing, and the world remains connected by the thin, glowing threads of the deep. Has moved beneath the waves. Nations are now competing to control and protect these paths.